Maharashtra, every state they have joined. So
Beautiful.
they'll keep
I
on
really
increasing
appreciate
in
that.
number as we go by.
So we're keeping also this as live. So I have shared a YouTube link to
It
all
is
of
a
our
YouTube
network
link is
partners.
there.
Yes.
Yes, sir. YouTube
Yes.
link.
Same
Wonderful.
here. I
Wonderful.
have
Yes.
also shared with few of my
And
friends.
so this will be a recorded session also. It will be available later also.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
So you can
All
all
the
see it
credit
and
goes to you, ma'am. We have been hearing a lot about your contribution, about your commitment towards nature conservation.
No, sir, I've
towards
seen yours. The way you do it in Kashmir, I think it is in good hands.
But it's very
in good hands.
important to work together. It is very
Yeah.
fundamental that whatever I do as an environmental lawyer and beyond that as a conservationist, we all together as a one single family can do a lot more
Yes.
for this small blue dot in the galaxy somewhere. Yes.
Definitely, definitely.
Yes, yes, yes.
So we'll start dot at 3, sir. So we have only 2 minutes left, and I'm expecting 2 more people to join. One
Surely,
more
indeed.
is a lawyer from Delhi,
Wonderful.
and another one is Madam Madam is from Maharashtra, and she's the principal of a college, Briham College, Pune. She would be joining.
Right.
So 2
Wonderful.
more panelists is join, and then we'll start 1 more minute left.
Surely,
for us
indeed.
to
I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Please stay with us.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, I can share my clip from my site, right?
Yeah, ma'am, you can try that. You can try that.
Okay. I'll just try now also. So this is one clip I will be sharing. About 6
Okay.
minutes. So I think it's coming. Can you hear?
It's coming. It's coming,
Oh,
ma'am.
good.
It's coming.
So that will be one, and I think I have another PPT which I would in between I will be sharing. So that the clip condense most of our work which we have been doing in Varanasi and around the
Okay, you traveled
Yeah.
all the way from Nagaland to Varanasi to do the
Yes.
work. Oh, that's great, ma'am. That's
Yeah,
great.
Sakar Seva is registered in UP.
Okay.
And the founder is my husband, and I was
Oh, all
Yeah.
right. Oh, that's really nice. That's
So
nice
he-
to know.
he
Okay,
is from-
together you both are
yeah,
working
I
for
came
the
all the
environment.
way from Nagaland to UP to get married. Yeah.
Okay, your husband is from Varanasi. All
He
right.
is from he's from UP. Yeah.
Okay,
Kazipur, yeah.
that's really
So
nice. That's really
most
nice.
of our work is in Varanasi and around,
Okay,
and
okay.
a small work also in Nagaland.
Uh-huh.
So yeah. But now, after Swachh Bharat campaign, I think we are connected with almost all the states in India. So we have a big Shramdan India group.
Okay.
But Nadeem, sir, I think we don't have a team from Kashmir. So I think
you consider
that
us
will be
as
you.
committed green volunteers, and Rekha
yes.
ma'am is the connector for all these beautiful ideas.
Yes.
I
So
think
now
Rekha
I'm
ma'am has to do a lot more to bring a lot of great minds together. For sure, I'm going to be a committed volunteer for your organization.
Not my volunteer, but you are already doing it. So I'm so thankful to Rekha ma'am that
We are a one,
connected
as I
today.
told you, we're a one single
Yes.
family for a common good of the planet Earth. And definitely,
True.
you have all my infrastructure, logistics, offices, network available for expansion. More than happy to receive you at the Dal Lake.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to learn a lot today because I
an
can
honor.
see the resource person. I mean, I'm going to learn a lot, really.
It's an honor.
I hope
It's an
I
honor
have,
for all of us to understand and exchange ideas, but all credit goes to Rekha ma'am to understand
True.
that we are one single united force for making this planet Earth coming out of this shock which is there as a climate emergency. Definitely, we all will work together from tomorrow and gear up under the leadership of Rekha ma'am.
Yes, absolutely.
So we'll just start, sir. Just give me 2 minutes. I think ma'am, Seema ma'am is not able to join I think link she's not
Yeah,
got.
I think the meeting
You
ID is
also, ma'am, sir,
important. Yeah,
you also
meeting
had
ID
the
is
same problem.
important. I had no issues with meeting ID, and I think it is very simple to get in through meeting ID.
Sure,
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
Just a minute. I'm just sending her the link, and then we'll start. So I think good afternoon, all the students and panelists. Please, thank you for coming over here. Welcome to our third session. I welcome all our panelists for today's session, Mr. Ashutosh Senger, Ms. Tsemsulata Imsong, Mr. Nadeem Quadri, Dr. Seema Purohit. She is traveling and she will just join. She has, I think, got the link, but she's not able to join. She would just join in a few minutes. And Mr. Hitesh Kumar Gulati. I just wanted to tell you all the advantage of the online sessions. All our panelists are coming from different regions of India. Mr. Ashutosh Senger is from Delhi. Mr. Tsemsulata Imsong is from Nagaland, she just told us. And Dr. Seema Purohit is coming from Maharashtra. Mr. Hitesh Gulati is coming from Chandigarh, Punjab. And see, all our students are from different states. And Mr. Nadeem Qadri is from Kashmir. So I think we all welcome. And let me tell you that I have joined from Dharamshala. I've come over for a holiday for 4 days. So I said, why not from here? So this is what the wonders of an online session.
So it's good to see you, ma'am. You are in Himachal, and I just came back from Himachal yesterday.
Oh, yeah, really? Oh, that's very nice. Okay, it's a lot of rush here. I think all Delhi, Punjab, they have all come over here. So that's a place, but it is very nice and not hot like Delhi. So I'll just revise. In our previous session, we learned all the environmentalists from all the environmentalists about the green career, green courses. We met corporate professionals about creating green impact, renewable energy, green transportation and buildings. We also learned from Mr. Nikhil Kamath how to brand yourself. I think we learned about the communication skills, interview skills and professionalism. We also learned about the various UK universities offering sustainable courses by Ms. Ila Balodi. Continuing the same trend, today we have all gathered here to learn, get inspired, get motivated by our extraordinary panelists working for and connected with the environment, sustainability, and climate change. So I think ma'am has not joined. Our Seema ma'am was the first panelist. I'll take on the second panelist, that is Mr. Ashutosh Senger. Mr. Ashutosh Senger is environmentalist, policy researcher turned lawyer. He's currently working as a legal counsel at Athena Education. Mr. Senger specializes in dispute resolution and has a keen interest in legal and policy aspect associated with environment and ESG. And he has been active in representing corporate clients in various variety of sectors, as well as governmental units and other public sector entities before courts and tribunals. He has worked on several environmental law disputes before Supreme Court of India and the National Green Tribunal, that is NGT. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rekha ma'am, for the introduction. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, yes, you are.
Thank you so much to Climate Reality Project. I think my relationship with the Climate Reality Project goes fairly long back now, and it's such an honor to reconnect here. And thank you so much, Rekha ma'am, for inviting me. I hope to learn a lot. I was in fact reading the brochure of the summer camp very time. It's very timely here. So let's see what I have to share. I'll try and keep it as interactive as I can. And allow me to please share my slide.
So you can share, you are the co-host, so you can share anything.
Right. It's visible, right?
It's visible.
Great. So a very good evening to everyone. In fact, we're touching what 3 o'clock, right? So good evening to everyone, and thank you so much for coming here. I mean, it's a Saturday. It's sort of working for me also. I've been called on to some urgent meetings post this. So thank you so much to all the panelists and also to a lot of participants who've come to hear us at a Saturday. So the very first thing that I wanted to, I know each one of us have actually discussed this. A lot of participants have attended the previous sessions, but just through a slide, I'm not going to answer this question, but I'm sure the next slide will answer why are we talking about environment. So if we see, I don't really have to answer this. The news reports, these are mostly recent. The photograph and the news reports may look intimidating or haunting, but a part of me is very hopeful, and my hope comes from the participants. You guys are the next generation. We're also making our bits to improve the situation, but I think the sort of time that we are in great time. We can play a great role. And how we can do this, I will not be telling, but the slides will tell. The next slide will show what we can do, but the broad structure that I'm going to follow. So I want you to know this is the broad structure that I will follow in my presentation. Just very subtly, I'll touch upon that green jobs are the future. I'll take you through my own journey. So this part is my favorite. I genuinely enjoyed making my slides for this part, if I be extremely honest. The later part of the presentation will be following mostly on what I feel is there, in the career for environmental law. And very briefly, I'll talk about what I have done. So I know the participants have been told what green jobs are and green economy. So just very minutely touching, the numbers are showing that green jobs are the future. So if you look onto the slide, and this is from the Global Green Skills Report 2022 brought by LinkedIn, and if you see this graph, the share of global hiring in green jobs is the highest. So trust me, when I say green jobs, I'm not saying that one has to really, just be an environmental scientist or someone, but there are elements of environment touching across every profession, whether it be law. I'm a lawyer. I do corporate criminal practice, but then a major part of my work has also been environmental law. So similarly, if somebody wants to say become a chartered accountant, currently sustainable finance is a major area that's becoming in demand. So green jobs are jobs which require these little skill sets. So the share of hiring in these jobs is, as you can see in the graph, is completely on the uphill. So very positive sign. So it means that green jobs are the future. Now, this was the pattern in global hiring, but let's see what the India has to offer. So if we see this table from the same report, you see that the sectors which are hiring green talent today are software and IT services. There's so much of work. I work a lot with these IT service entities. I do a lot of work with fintechs. So there's so much of work that can be done. For example, let's say there are huge data centers, and these data centers are very energy intensive. So the very fact that these data centers tomorrow shift, let's say, to renewable energy, they need people who can help them realign their operations to, let's say, waste management or to renewable energy. So similarly, there are other sectors, say education, construction. So sectors, but the sectors which are traditional sectors are also very open to hiring green talent. So I'm not going to read out the whole table, but just a very snapshot that the story is very positive down the line. There's going to be a lot of green jobs in the future, and this is what we require, so that we saw that we are facing environmental crisis today. To improve, we need to align ourselves to a green economy. Now, moving to my favorite part, I'm not going to be talking too much. The slides are more interactive. So I started my career as a policy researcher. What as a policy researcher I used to do is I used to work with governments and try and help them come out with good policies. And then subsequently, I moved on to practice law. And since I had a huge background in environmental policy, it was sincerely out of my passion that I set up an environmental law practice. But then all started with environmental policy. So my journey I'll show from the environmental policy side. So I've worked for a lot of projects which were funded by several international agencies, but this is one of my favorite projects that I was involved in. I used to work for a think tank called TERI, the Energy and Resources Institute. We used to be based in Delhi. And the project was funded by Global Green Growth Institute, which is headquartered in Seoul in Korea, South Korea. We were working very closely with the state of Punjab and the state of Himachal Pradesh. Now, it may appear to you that, yes, we had a huge team, we were working from Delhi, but what the slides will show you is that it's a lot fun to work in the sector. So, like I said, we were looking at Punjab and we were looking at Himachal. We did extensive research for a couple of years, and the research was through a team. Now, this is just a small team photograph. And if you see, there's me in black t-shirt. So my core education was business and public policy. The lady on the right in the black suit, she holds her master's and MBA in finance from UK. And then the others, if you see, these are the core training is in economy or geographic information system. But what is common between each one of us is that we have a passion for sustainability. We have some amount of green skill set. And therefore, what I'm trying to say here is that environment intersects all the sectors. So if you have passion, there's a place for you here. Now, the entire research culminated into 6 documents. So imagine the amount of techno-economic research that went into. I was involved in doing a lot of field surveys because I was involved in looking at the policy recommendations that go to the government. Now, it may all sound very technical, but trust me, it's super, super fun. And I'll show you what this has to offer on the fun side in my next slides. So you get to travel. So if you like traveling, this is an amazing sector because see, environmental issues happen across different states. Not just in Delhi, we also get to travel a lot. We get to interact a lot. And all of these photographs are my personal photographs. So if you look at this photograph on the left, I'm actually interacting with the farmers while they were burning paddy straw. A huge issue that we all talk about, as we see the paddy straw burning effects in Delhi and NCR also. On the right, if you see, this is one of my favorite photographs. The kids are playing, but right, in front of them, there's a field that's been burnt. So you get to witness this firsthand on the field. If you see these photographs, these are photographs that went into our report that we saw. And these are photographs taken by my colleagues on the field. So you get to visit amazing places, you get to visit people, you get to talk to them. Not just, so there's a huge side. So people who love to travel, I think sustainability is an amazing field. So it's a lot of fun also. You get to travel. These are all from the same, our travel. The next slide shows our photographs from our Himachal Pradesh travel. All of these photographs, in fact, went on to those reports. So you get to go to places, you get to meet people, you learn insights from them. Based on your own research and your skill set, we look at how we can move out and develop solutions. So it's super fun. And not just national travel. I did a lot of international work. I still advise a lot of clients who are abroad. So you also do a lot of international work experience. I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm here somewhere. This is me. So this is a photo from a conference that I was speaking at in an island in South Korea called Jeju. So because I used to work a lot with the Global Green Growth Institute, this is the Global Green Growth Knowledge Platform. So we had a huge 5-day event there. So, these are photographs from my work travel. The right photograph, the extreme right, is in fact a dormant volcano. It's Saint Mount Halasan that I hiked. So yeah, work travel, but you get to you get to have fun. You get to meet people. So these are all photographs taken by me. In fact, they're from my Instagram account. I had to go and download them. So you do a lot of travel. You meet a lot of people. There's so much of learning that happens. See, I bring, let's say, Indian learning. I learned so much. I met a lot of people from World Bank, Asian Development Bank, people who are working in other countries. So there's a lot of learning that happens in the field, and the fact that still a growing field. It's important that we create knowledge discourse. Now, moving on to environmental law as a career, there's a lot of work to be done. And imagine this is just a snapshot of the current laws that we have on environmental law in India. So let's say a lot of you are actually listening to us through, say, mobile phones, laptops, or iPads. Just think about what happens to them when they become a scrap. So there's e-waste rules. Look at the batteries that are there probably in your remote, or say AC remote around you. There's a lot of work that's done in batteries. We had COVID. We still have COVID around. So there's huge work on biomedical waste. We're breathing oxygen as we speak. Air laws are there. So there's huge amount of work to be done. There's enough work that's kept me busy. I've done work in almost, I think almost in all, actually, frankly. All. So in fact, wildlife, I used to work very closely with the Ministry of Environment also, so done a fair bit of environmental wildlife work also. So there's just huge amount of work that can be done. These are entities that are regulating. Like I said, I've worked with MOEF. I've also worked on assignments very closely with CPCBs and SPCB. In fact, I've represented one of the municipal corporations also in NGT. This was in one of the a different state, but the matter was happening at NGT in principal bench. We have Supreme Court here. NGT is there. It has separate benches. High courts are there. So there's enough amount of work, and there's so much to do. In fact, I mean, I'm fortunate that I'm able to do some bits of it, but it's still a lot that needs to be done. And I hope, and I genuinely hope that some of you get involved with this. It's super fun, super interesting, super satisfying. We are one of the very few countries, probably I think first or second, and we have a separate tribunal, which is NGT. So if you see the top photo is the principal bench of NGT, which is housed in Delhi. Then we have some other zonal benches. So imagine, just think about it. It's such an important issue that India has separate specialized tribunal for it. So, if there are environmental issues in Northeast, they go to Calcutta. They're down south, they go to Chennai. I've in fact appeared in NGT Pune during the pandemic. We have in Bhopal, Delhi. Delhi is there. It's the principal bench. The chairperson sits here. So there's huge amount of work that is to be done, and it's super interesting. Now, you may actually think, right, there are laws, and then of course, there are courts, but then what are the core areas that any environmental lawyer works on? So just a snapshot of this. So litigation is what I specialize in. There's so much work here. But then just generally, there's a lot of work. For example, you may have heard about instances where that, let's say, unfortunately, let's say fire broke out in a factory or something happened in a chemical factory. So we're also involved in advising them how they can, curb these situations. So we not only do we do litigation, but we also help companies become more green. We help them how they can, avoid these situations in future. So it's very rewarding. It's also very satisfying because a lot of entities want to work within the environmental framework. They don't want to work against the environment, but they really want help. So they want help from people like you and I who can go to them and advise them, because nobody wants to do anything bad to the environment, because today slowly the punishment is increasing. But they want help. They want people like you and I to go to them and advise them how they can work within the framework of the environment. So for example, due diligence, I've worked a lot on due diligence, which is, let's say, one company purchasing another company. Now we are involved in advising and helping let's say the buyer to understand if the entity which the buyer is purchasing has any environmental liability. If not, great. But if it has some, what can the buyer do? So there's a lot of work that's there to be done. Now, so just, I think there's some, right. So just the last part of the slide. So like I said, broadly, environmental law litigation, this is what I do primarily. I do a lot of policy work and consulting work. So I've been advising a lot of clients in India and abroad, let's say on carbon emissions, vehicular emissions. You do plastic waste is an important issue that a lot of corporate clients are facing today. They want to understand how they can, create this whole extended producer responsibility, which is that, for example, today when you buy a Coca-Cola, there is also, it comes in plastic. So a lot of these companies, they also have to have a responsibility to, work towards waste management of that plastic. So they need a lot of advisory. Sustainable finance is an interesting area that is picking up. Then there's environmental, social, and governance advisory that we're doing. So there's enough amount of work, and we're trying to help our clients figure this out. Like I said, this is the Supreme Court on the left, Delhi High Court in the middle, NGT, the three places that I do most of my litigation. Currently is based in Delhi. Not just litigation, I'm also involved a lot of in knowledge products. So if any one of you are, in fact, currently or in the last 1 year did any of these courses, let's assume maybe someone has done. I'm the one who, in fact, updated the entire course books for all the 3 courses. So there's enough amount of knowledge work that I do involve myself. In the previous slide, I was involved in doing this interesting conference, with Jindal Global University. In fact, had the opportunity to also work because of this event with the Justice Michael. He's a judge of the Supreme Court of Hawaii and very, very involved in the environmental law work. So it's a lot of learning, a lot of fun. I think my photographs may have done justice to it. So with this, I'll close my presentation. And I really look forward to some interesting Q&A. Happy to answer when we hit 5 o'clock. And, I really look forward to attending the whole event. I may be, closing my camera in between because I have to rush to my office as well. But I'll constantly be listening to the whole event, and I'll really look forward to the Q&A at 5 p.m.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you for telling us about sustainable finances and sharing your journey. I think that gives an inspiration to all the students that they can travel while doing their jobs. And the pictures were really beautiful. And I think a lot of students, they will get inspired and they will take it up. I'm sure of it.
Most grateful.
Thank you, sir. So moving on, our second panelist is Miss Tsemsulata Imsong. So Madam is also a co-founder with her husband. Now I know the founder is the husband. So Sarkar Seva Samiti, and she worked in Varanasi. In her village practices, village where she comes from, that is Nagaland she comes from, sanitation, water harvesting, etc. Have been a way of life. Miss Imsong has done her schooling from Mokochung and graduated from St. Mary's College, Shillong. Miss Imsong has set up her self-help group to promote involvement of masses in keeping public areas clean, cleaning ghats in Varanasi. Currently, they have taken up promotion of individual composting and working on it aggressively, since it may go on to become the solution of many in our environmental woes. So I think, Madam, the floor is all yours now.
Thank you so much, ma'am, Rekhaji, for inviting. And I'm going to share my experience. And definitely, while sharing also, with all these prominent speakers, I'm going to learn a lot. So thank you so much for this privilege, for bringing all of us together. And I'm not here to teach something. It's just that I have whatever I have experienced now, वही शेयर करेंगे आप लोगों से. और मैं स्टूडेंट्स देख रही हूँ बार वो चैट बॉक्स में सभी जगह से ज्वाइन कर रही है. सो ये बहुत ही मतलब अच्छा, virtually also we are connected and we are going to learn from each other. So ऐसा opportunity मतलब अपना घर से बैठ के, so this is like no, I feel that this is the best opportunity for me also to learn. So thank you so much for to all of you for joining. And yes, as I said earlier, I'm going to learn a lot from this session. So moving on, I wanted to share a small clip about how we have been working in around Varanasi and yeah, in all this years. So there is a small clip. I hope it should not bore you. So I'm sharing that with you all, with all of you. So please bear with me. And I think by sharing that, all of you will get a small idea about what we have been doing. Okay, so let me try. Okay, so our organization is called Sagar Seva Samiti, registered in UP, and here is it. Okay. Put your phone. Put your phone. So some work we're like out of our topic, but that's how no a bit of our work has been compiled in this clip, and wherever I go, I wanted to share this clip with my audience and with the new friends. So that's a bit of our work. And yes, my life, I wanted to share, like my life has been blessed since I came to Varanasi and since I started working for the sanitation out there. And yes, like some people used to ask, you came all the way from Nagaland, which is like at least 2,000 kilometers away from Varanasi, and you are working here as a mere Nagar Nigam Karamchari, na?
Actually, you're working yourself, yeah.
But like और हाँ कुछ लोग बोलती थी अब मैम अब इतना दूर आके यही करना था तो वहीं पे भी सफाई करने के लिए तो होगा ना. No, like all these questions used to come. लेकिन मैंने बोला हाँ वहीं पे भी है, लेकिन एक चीज एक तो है, एक डिफरेंस है वाराणसी और जहाँ पे भी North India, or if I compare to the northeastern, which is also my Nagaland का कल्चर जो में शेयर करेंगे तो एक चीज तो डिफरेंस है उसमें क्या है, like all throughout the year, so, like we have the cycle of seasons, right? And उसमें जो है अगर hilly places लोग अगर सफाई नहीं करेंगे तो they know that they are going to get sick, so they make sure that they keep their surroundings clean. And ये एक चीज मतलब forefathers से हम लोग like generations ये brought down किया है that we have to clean our own surroundings, not only our houses. And like sometimes in cities you see like अपने अच्छी तरह से घर तो रगड़ के धोया और साफ किया, लेकिन आपका कचरा जो बैक है एकदम आराम से बालकनी से फेंक दिया ना. तो ये वाला सिस्टम जो है हमारे नहीं है, क्योंकि अगर ऐसा होने से इट्स हिली एंड देन वो चीज जो है एकदम किसी का बालकनी में गिर जाएगा और वो मतलब they know that they will get sick out of that. So throughout the year, the village panchayat, the council, they will organize Ramadan cleanliness activity. And एक भी अगर घर से एक व्यक्ति नहीं आएंगे तो they will take fine. And fine इतना हजार का नहीं होगा, 5 रुपया हो सकता है, 50 का हो सकता है, लेकिन वो जो फाइन है कम्युनिटी, आपका घर से कम्युनिटी, आपका विलेज काउंसिल फाइन जैसा वो 50 रुपया 5 रुपया ले रहा है, तो that's shameful like act. So it shows that you are unable to cooperate with the community, you are unable to give a bit of time which is for you, which they are working for yourself. So ऐसा माहौल में मैं brought up किया हूँ, so I don't find no शर्म cleaning of carts or cleaning of parks or whatever is in front of me. तो ऐसा बोल देती. So like मेरा एक्सपीरियंस बहुत ही अच्छा रहा अभी तक, और हम लोग सफाई करते करते ये I am the solution, आपने अभी देखा होगा वीडियो में. क्यों मैंने I am the solution बोला, क्योंकि मैंने सोचा like डिस्ट्रॉय तो हम लोग ही कर रहे हैं ना, ये एनवायरनमेंट जितना भी डिस्ट्रॉय कर रहा है. प्रीवियस स्पीकर ने अच्छी तरह से वो जो लेट आउट किया, कितना प्लास्टिक पॉल्यूशन जो भी मतलब लैंडफिल्स में आ रहा है, पहले उन्होंने भी देखा ना लैंडफिल्स बड़ा सा एक दिखाया. सो ये हमारा ही गलती था, हम लोग ने landfills में जाने दिया. This is our problem. So I said हमने problem दिया है तो solution भी हम लोग ही देना पड़ेगा. So I took that I am the solution, or really we can give that solution. If we can cut down with our recyclable things, if we can stop using the single plastic use or whatever, we can. Yeah, environment safe करने के लिए तो बहुत कुछ. अगर आप if इस room पे नहीं है तो you can still switch. You switched off this fan, like lights. ये भी small contribution आप कर सकते हैं. This small things we can start. मतलब perfection तो कहीं नहीं होता है, but then वो जो perfection बनाने के लिए एक step आगे हम लोग every day, every hour we have to go forward. तो उसके लिए मैंने वो जो तब सफाई कर रहा था, we used to clean those spots, those carts. लेकिन एक चीज आ रहा था, नहीं, ये भी solution नहीं था, क्योंकि हम लोग ये खात तो साफ कर रहे हैं, लेकिन ये कचरा एक लैंडफिल में जाएगा और नहीं तो नगर निगम एक एरिया का वो उधर जाके मतलब कचरा तान वहीं पे कूड़ादान में रहेंगे. So no, this is not the solution we are giving. Of course we are cleaning one place at a time, but एक solution तो होना चाहिए. And that's how when we came up, not I, when our team came up, that no, we should give, when we go out for the awareness program or cleanliness program, we should give one solution. How at me, like just a normal person like you and I, how we can contribute to this this environment. And that's how when we started this home composting, and after I practiced for like 7-8 months, when I saw that you might have seen 365 days and then at least 1 kg per day, that means 365. So 365 kgs of biodegradable waste was not going out from my place, and hardly 20 kgs of those plastic or maybe plastic rubber to bhi aata tha, which I could not control. वो आता था वही चाह रहे थे. And that also I simply used to talk with one rag picker, and वो एकदम happily he used to take away, because those were like milk packets and all those packets था. तो मैम ये तो आपने कचरा उसके साथ मतलब किचन वेस्ट के साथ मिक्स करके नहीं दिया, तो ये तो साफ है, मेरे को एकदम सीधा जाके मैं ये like I can sell with like ऐसा. तो आपने तो मेरे को एकदम सेग्रीगेट करके अच्छी तरह से ऐसा दिया है, तो मैं जाके सीधा ये तो I can sell. So मेरे को ऐसा भी मिला. So and I started working like that, and when I saw that this is a solution, I started approaching schools, colleges, and even in Corona time, even in this pandemic time, मैंने क्या किया, I used to approach schools and colleges, and many of them agreed that yes, composting सीखना है हम लोग. You have to bring that demonstration के साथ आप virtual में आ जाओ and हम लोग सीखेंगे. So many schools and colleges, they got connected with me during pandemic also, and I feel that this is one of the solution. And बहुत कचरा, मतलब कचरा जो है, मतलब we cannot count them, like so many. It's like e-waste जो previous जो speaker mentioned कर रहा था, waste be different, but then at least if you can control that kitchen waste from your home, if you start weighing, आप measure करेंगे तो आप पता चलेंगे. Yes, really. मतलब आप वही home composting भी करेंगे तो आपने बहुत ही बचा लिया. और वही ready compost, so how, like people ask, students many a times they ask, तो compost क्या करेंगे? तो compost जो है, ready compost जो है, it's आप garden, like terrace garden बना सकता है. और अगर आप garden है, open garden, you can have a beautiful garden, you can have your own vegetation out of it. And अगर आप vegetation भी नहीं करना चाहता है, तो flower भी नहीं रख सकता है, तो at least उसके वो भी you can sell compost. I tell this to students, वो आपका मतलब ये, and like in market they call that this ready compost is called black coal, like black सोना जो है yellow coal नहीं, black coal बोलता है. So आप sell कर सकते हैं. So आप student है पर घर बैठे बैठे जो kitchen waste जो भी आ रहा है वो कंपोस्ट बना के वो भी सेल कर सकते हैं. So you can earn your own pocket money or whatever. So this is also I share, and it's very easy, right? composting हम लोग कुछ नहीं करना है, just we just have to मतलब felicit, I'm not like एक composter लेके आओ, वो भी eBay or Amazon, maybe if you check the composter, maybe you find it very expensive, लेकिन आपको वही से भी लेने के लिए भी जरूरत नहीं है. You can just bring a matka, earthen pot, which is very, very familiar with all of us, right? Indian family के लिए तो earthen pot, which is very familiar for all of us, and you will get it by like 50, 60 or 100 at the max. तो earthen pot रहेंगे तो आपका composter तैयार, उसमें थोड़ा हाँ modification, थोड़ा holes बनाना पड़ेगा for air to come in, and it's very easy to make. So ऐसा करके मतलब I share, and this is also another success program I have seen in this 4 or 5 years. And क्योंकि हम लोग और लॉयर एक आ रहा है, वो भी शायद मेंशन करेंगे. एक ये स्टूडेंट्स को कहना चाहती हूँ, EPI एक्सटेंडेड प्रोड्यूसर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी जो है, ये लॉ जो है, आई थिंक वी शुड ऑल रिमेम्बर अबाउट दिस लॉ, EPI एक्सटेंडेड प्रोड्यूसर responsibility. So like last time I wanted to share a small experience about this also. We have a Shramdan India group. So one of our group, they collected lots of PepsiCo chips packets, and then they sent to headquarters in PepsiCo. I think it's in Gurgaon, which is based in Gurgaon. So they sent, and then they also responded that yes, we come under EPI, and then we are planning to build many of our collection center in many cities in India. That's how they responded. So ये भी हम लोग को पता होना चाहिए, if the companies who are like packaging, जो हम लोग chips खा रहे हैं, जो भी like food package जो भी खा रहे हैं, वो लोग मतलब वो लोग के लिए भी हम लोग मतलब responsible citizen बन के ना, वो भी हम लोग चगाना चाहिए वो लोग को. And then these are very important. And yes, I don't want to go back showing the same landfills and all those things, but agar ma'am, just tell me, okay, if I am going out of the time. So like I feel that of course government is already doing a lot of programs under Swachh Bharat campaign, but this campaign is going to be a great program unless and until you and I become a smart citizen, a responsible citizen. नहीं तो ये जो भी स्मार्ट जो भी स्वच्छ भारत क्लीन इंडिया कैंपेन हो रहा है, अगर हम लोग जिम्मेदारी बन के ये सपोर्ट नहीं करेंगे तो it's not possible at all. And you can see like how like we are polluting the surrounding, the environment. Air pollution तो आप देखो दिल्ली में तो एकदम मतलब वो तो गंदा वाला रिपोर्ट आता है ना, lowest मतलब ऐसा. So like, and all of us, we cannot run to hilly places, right? It's not possible. So जो भी है अभी we can still work on it, and then हम लोग बचा सकता है, and by planting a small tree, by like in our balconies, वो भी कर सकता है. But मेरा main चीज जो है, because all the speakers are there, they are going to touch upon it, how the market is growing, how this like green job is growing. तो उस विषय में मैं ज्यादा प्रेस नहीं कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन जो इंडिविजुअली हम लोग इंडिविजुअली क्या कर सकते हैं, simple thing, we can stop using our single use plastic. Again, I'm repeating, we can start home composting, because उसके लिए आपको कुछ जरूरत नहीं है. दो बार at least 2 times we are eating, so that means waste bio waste जो है आपका किचन से ऑलरेडी निकल रहा है, so वो एटलीस्ट मिक्स नहीं करना है, वो सेग्रीगेट करके आप कंपोस्ट बना लीजिए. उसके वजह से like if you see growing your like you might have seen my clip, I was growing palak spinach, and I have harvest that time. That was my first harvest. That's why I used that picture every now and then, because that was my first harvest, and I could know, like I could eat that one from my own compost, and I'm growing that small vegetation. But that gives you a big satisfaction when you are doing this, and when you are like you have to start with a small thing only, because hum log no, like I am not I'm 40 years old. I was not 40 years old when I was born, right? So ऐसे ही सोचना है, जो बेबी जैसा हम लोग एक step by step grow करते हैं. So environment save करने के लिए भी we should start with a small thing, and that is available. And if you wanted to connect with me, my name is there. That's my name is there on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, with this name only. So anyone, any student can connect with me, and we can be a warrior, no? Like we can become that warrior to save our environment. And let's because you are the future, and if you don't do today, I think it is really dangerous. And I'm not showing because facts has been shown by the previous speaker already, so I'm not showing any facts, but it's already there in the YouTube and website already. So it's very scary if you look at the data, how much garbage or how much pollution we are making every day. So I'm not going there. You already know that, but let's become environmental warrior, and let's be aware. And then my best wishes to all of you, and thank you to Rekha ma'am for connecting all of us today. And thank you so much for this time.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for explaining and showing. And I have seen your organization is doing great work and cleaning the ghats, and I think great work in Varanasi. And we would like all my young ones, those who are listening, to carry on that work in your place, wherever you are. Just like ma'am said, ki one I think kilometer or 1 meter of your area should be clean. So they should all take up. Why not? Why 1 kilometer or 1 meter? We feel that school is a community. Schools can take up the composting thing in their area. Students, those who are there, they are from different organization and different colleges, universities, and even schools also. So they can take up. So thank you, ma'am, for explaining and telling what the great work you do. And you do it personally. And I've seen from the pictures that you are also involved in it. Great, ma'am. Thank you so much. Moving on, our third panelist is Dr. Seema Purohit. Dr. Seema Purohit has PhD in mathematics, the subject which I hate and I don't like it at all, from University of Mumbai, and PGDBA from MIT, MBA from Jaipur National University, with a rich experience of 32 years in education field. Currently, she is shouldering the responsibility of principal, Deccan Education Society, Briham, Maharashtra, College of Commerce, Pune. She is also a climate reality leader. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. With this little introduction, and so the panelists and my young participants, they must be wondering what a mathematician is doing in this kind of program. But let me share my experience, that how I came closer to the environmental consciousness. As I said, being a mathematician, we are very materialistic people, and we always speak in terms of numbers, and we are very straight to the heart, and whatever it is there, we speak in a very few words, and that too symbolic language. Let me share actually the college with where I was working. We had a very long beach, a beautiful beach of Arabian Sea at Dadar, our Mumbai campus. Deccan Education Society has got a college over there, and we have a long beach. So while observing that beach, I always used to feel that's so beautiful, because when the beach used to be clear, it used to be very blue, and that color has caught my eye. And I said, why on all 365 days, why this color blue cannot stay? And that is why my introduction to the environment, that is what I said. Maybe it is little late, I can say. Of course, at heart or whenever in practice, we used to follow the practices of keeping dry waste and the wet waste separately, and do not throw the plastic bags in the normal our garbage bin and so on. So that practices we used to follow, and that has become a second nature. That is perfectly all right. But it was our own climate reality leader, Dr. Nandini Deshmukh. She has actually created the awareness in us. And we started taking, or our students, the NSS or NCC students, and they used to clean the beach every other Sunday, or every Sunday, at least one NGO used to come and clean the beach. And that is how the color of the beach used to started looking blue or sea green on all the 365 days. Ranging from this, when I got introduced to the Climate Reality Project Foundation, then we have taken up a lot of activities, including tree plantation, including the composting. So it was the IRCON International who has given graciously the composting beans. And that is how we used to put all our garbage in those composting beans. So that is how it was started my journey with this. And it grew actually when I attended the international conference in sustainability, which happened in, I think, 2019. And when I saw that all the aspects of the environmental education and sustainability, I started feeling that, okay, I should be the part, because when I said that, okay, it is possible as an educationist, it is possible to build a sustainability education framework within our organization itself. And as Rekha Madam has pointed out correctly, I belong to the age-old education society, that is Deccan Education Society, which is founded by our own founding fathers, freedom fighters, in 1884. So almost it is a 136-year-old education society. So I felt it is our responsibility to build the sustainability education framework in our own institutions of Deccan Education Society, because sustainability has got its connection with each and every aspect of our life, whether it is media and sustainability, whether it is youth movements and sustainability, whether it is in non-formal systems or in our extracurricular activities, we can embed the sustainability education. Then we can have the national education policies also surrounding the sustainability education. And that is how I started saying. So actually, when it comes to the students, I think students maybe along with their education, if they can take up a job which is near to their heart, then it will be very easy for them, so that they can pursue whatever their feelings are there. So I will just share my screen. So I have just prepared the couple of slides in order to, of course, already Ashutosh has already said the career which he has been pursuing. So here basically this is what the jobs. Let me just share my screen again. It got 1 minute, huh? Okay. Yeah. So fine. So I think my screen is visible. Yes. So basically, when Rekha Madam contacted me, let me speak about those green jobs and courses because naturally planet needs green jobs. And when it comes to following the green jobs, let us try to see that what the green careers have been. To me, basically, the green career revolves around three particular areas, which is one is the sustainability, which I have already talked about. Then one is the preservation, and the another one is the conservation. So basically, when we always say the white collar jobs and so on. So now the sustainability or the COVID-19 has thrown into a totally different area where we can have the green collar employees also. So basically the green collar employees, they are consciously putting their efforts in promoting the environmentally conscious decisions and policies, which we have already seen in Ashutosh sir's presentation. Then you have to make a positive contribution to the planets, which where just now prior to me, one presentation we have seen that how in small thing it is possible to make a positive contribution to the planet. And besides that, you can improve a variety of environmental issues such as water and air pollution, recycling, energy and gas. Like in our own BMCC campus, we have been having projects like rainwater harvesting, or our children, they do provide waters in case of summer season. So we put small water pots so that birds can drink, because our campus is almost the 12-acre campus. It is a lush green campus where the birds and the butterflies. So we have made the Ayurvedic Ropa-Vatika also. We have the butterfly garden also. So all these projects are doing, and the best part of it, our own students are taking parts in wholeheartedly. So I will just go hurriedly over the green careers in sustainability. As we know, the sustainability is basically, it is a area where we try to address the concerns of the ecological balance and the earth sustainability. So it is basically a popular and growing field where it can integrate many things from the formal education. Like for example, in social sciences, we do speak about the biological sciences, ecological, earth sciences, geography, geology. So whichever the subject of your interest you can take along with your degree, it is possible to couple up with. Being a mathematician, I have been extensively working for the computationally sustainable solution, that how one can use the computer or the technology in order to contribute positively for the sustainability. Then environmental science is already there. And besides that, as I have just now talked about, that we can provide that technological solutions to maintain the sustainability. Again, the waste management or the biodiversity management or the green campus management. So if you have the couple of activities, or if you have the proper certification programs in order to have the business management and development, that is also will work. So here basically we have at BMCC, we have already designed a postgraduate diploma or the courses which are leading to the sustainable business development, because ours is a commerce college. So in line to have with the commerce college philosophies or all the subjects which students they learn. So here also we have, and let me tell you, Rekha madam, in our syllabus, being an autonomous college, we have made 1 credit compulsory for environmental science. EVS ka one compulsory credit student have to complete in order to get their degree. Unless and until they do it, they won't be able to get their degree. So basically, the roles in the sustainability sector are many. I will just point out the couple of roles. Basically, because of the COVID-19, a lot of thrust is on the field work, which has come into the existence, and that is how we have started working on it. The first role is basically the here we can say is the urban planner. So for the new kids or the new people who would like to do who would like to remain environmentally conscious along with their jobs, it is going to be really good for them. So here basically under the urban planners, typically these people assist the companies and organizations to develop the plans for the appropriate use of the lands, whether it is the community parks, whether it is the road systems, or the overall layout of the plan, and so on. So we have been hearing from people that the smart city projects have been taken up, or urban planning has taken up a project where they can modernize and they can make their buildings green. So having a green building, so now it is not the what you can say the situation where even our municipal authorities will also give the permission to the building which has been already have a green certification. So here basically the urban planner is one area that I can see that along with their graduate studies, students can work. Besides the urban planning, we can have the landscape architect. Again, it is a specialized kind of job. So when the children, they grow up, they can contribute to the environmental sustainability, because basically landscape architect, it surveys the regions or the geography or the area around them, and they try to have both the areas, including the cities and the rural areas, and they will help the authorities in order in developing the wildlife habitats, or they will try to create the unique spaces or build the sustainable infrastructure and so on. So here obviously the landscape architect will require the technical skills, or maybe some problem solving, or the designing skills may also it will require. Another is, as I said, along with your social sciences, it is possible to take the geology as a subject also. So in geology, what we do is basically we try to study all those rocks and the geographical spread of the land which is going to happen. So the environmental geologist plays an important, very important role when it comes to the gas and the mining companies, and where they can guide these companies regarding the energy resource consumption and the acquisition. Of course, here and now, as I have said, technology has come to help us. The drones can take the aerial photographs, and through these aerial photographs, it becomes possible to have or to identify the resources, and we can work on it. So here it is the third criteria. The fourth is the environmental consultant. As Ashutosh sir was saying, that you can become an environmental consultant, where you can guide people in order to how they can become environmentally conscious. Because unless and until it starts with you, it is not, I mean, charity begins at home. So unless and until it starts with your campuses along with your students, it is not going to work. So an environmental, basically the consultant, it tries to bring in the private or the public people or the public agencies together, so that they can work for a common cause, and they may provide some guidance or the some advice, like water pollution, how to work on the water pollution, how to improve your air quality, how to improve how to avoid the soil contamination, and so on. So along with an environmental consultant, you have the environmental scientist also. Then the ecologist is again a popular area where people can work, because generally we know what ecologists do. They study and find the ways to address how the human actions can influence and affect the environment. So as I said, all these areas I am just showing that along with your studies, regular studies, it is possible to do that. Then you can become a air quality engineer, where so just now somebody mentioned about Delhi, that whenever on the streets of Delhi, we sitting in the vehicle, when we look around us, then you will see the black foggy cloud environment which is there. So here also you can contribute to the air quality engineer itself, where you can work on providing the solutions. Generally, air quality engineers work for the cities like Delhi, where there are the large cities. Then the environmental engineer, whether it is a geologist, consultant, or scientist, and if it is the environmental engineer, then you can have that. Then energy manager is another area which has come into existence, because we know that there is a scarcity of resources, and the energy is the most important resource, because we don't afford to have the scarcity of this resource. So it becomes our utmost responsibility to preserve this resource. And again, energy manager, what he does is the regularly he or she performs the audits to so that the efficient use of both environmental as well as financial resources can be monitored. Generally their services are needed in the development of new city projects, or there are some municipal corporations or government contracts are there where there are big plans are being made. And the sustainability engineer, I have just said that being a sustainability engineer, of course, you need to have a certain knowledge of the technology, and you must be able to frame, or in order to design the framework for the handling the projects, or the mega projects are there generally in environment and so on. So here, besides that, I still remember every 2nd October, IIT Mumbai, they conduct the workshop on solar lamp making workshop. So I still remember in our college, we had taken up the solar lamp making workshops. So it was a complete project, and my students and of course we as a mentor, so we have really enjoyed it, because there almost 100 students, they took part. We had borrowed, so generally the vendors, they give you the kits of solar lamps, and there everything, the soldering, then making proper connections and so on. Students themselves, they made almost 100 plus solar lamps. And what we have done it with it, it was a project where even the faculty members have sponsored all those solar lamp making kits, because it costed 500 per kit. So we never wanted to bother our children, the student participants. So all our faculty members sponsored each one of the kit, and students made those kits, and we have at our institution, we have taken one village, and where there is a scarcity of electricity, and we have distributed all those solar lamp, which we made in our own laboratory, and they were distributed to the villagers, and they were really very happy because it was so current, and that has helped us. So all these jobs are basically there, and for this you can have any undergraduate degree, whether it is the degree in the public health, or the degree in the sustainability, or even the global energy management, etc., etc. Of course, besides that, along with your normal degree also, it is possible to have different activities through your NCC, that is the National Cadet Corps, or you can have your National Social Service activities, or maybe if you are interested in the cultural activities, then you can have the street plays, where you can bring in the awareness in the people. So whether you are, whatever it is your area of interest, it is possible to contribute to the environmental science, sustainability. So basically, when it comes to the degrees, as I said, along with the sustainability, there are careers in conservations also. As we know, the conservationists are very passionate about helping and protecting the environment, assisting the endangered animals, preserving the ocean rivers, ocean banks, and so on. So basically, the career in conservation involves identifying the ways so that you can make an impact and protect the ecosystems. Of course, for this, you may require a strong background in science and a passion for the environment. Like we have the people, most of the people whom I know, they will be having either a degree in botany, or a degree in zoology, or microbiology, or geography, or geology, and so on. So if you are even the veterinary doctors, or the veterinary career also, it is there. So here basically you can become a field worker. If you don't want to, if you are not confident enough, that okay, you can have, but then these are some small jobs you can do it on your own, that you can become a field worker, where the you can collect as the madam earlier, she has already said that you can contribute in whatever the capacity. You can become a tour guide, so that you can guide the people. Then again, another area is the photographer. So if you are confident, or if you feel that you are an excellent photographer, then we can have the this as a career itself. And along with your regular degree, it is possible to. Then there are certain marine conservationists, where you can have the all those fishes and all those insects which are found in sea, and so on. So all those marine population you can help. Then another area is the fundraising manager. So that is also another aspect, because for any noble cause or the social cause, you do require certain kind of financial support, and for that you can become a fundraising manager. Ecologist, I have already said, and the veterinarian also I have said that it is because you are very sensitive to the environment which is happening around you, and in any small way you can contribute to the system. Of course, as I said, if you have a passion and if you feel that okay, you can go a long way, then there is no looking back. Like as I said, the person like me who was up to the age of 40, who was already only looking in a very focused manner and teaching mathematics, a subject like mathematics, converted and transformed into person we can where we can become a environmentally conscious people. So right now we have been taking the entire things and so on. So these are some small differences. One should also know that what are the differences between the environmental science jobs and the conservationists. So I think it is with this view, I am just putting that if you can just Google it, then you will see these kind of the jobs which are already there in the market. So even my graduate students also, I say that a company like Siemens, a company like Unique NV Care and so on. So there are many Indian as well as multinational companies. They are having these kind of jobs, whether it is a full-time job or whatever it is, you can work from home. Even I still remember we have taken one project where there was a job of translation. Because all the literature, whatever the villages, wherever we are going, so we have the Climate Reality Project Foundation was kind enough to give them the internship for this translation work, where the entire the literature which is related to the environment and sustainability was translated into the local languages, and that is how we have contributed to the system. So I think Rekha madam, I'm sorry for the inconvenience caused, because I was traveling and my laptop it got off, and that's why I had to thanks for rescheduling my session as a third at the third place. So I think with this I have tried to put the opportunities, or here you can have just pursue your passion along with your job, and that is what I wanted to share with you. That's all from my side.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. And no problems, ma'am. We can do here and there.
Yeah.
We were just waiting for you. So I agree, ma'am. Sustainability is a part of our life, and if we
Yes.
change our perspective,
Right.
and thanks for telling our young audience about the various courses which they can take up even in different fields, and if
Fields
not,
also. Yes.
yeah, even
Right.
different fields and different subjects. So I
Right.
think students, all those who are here, they can write their questions to all the panelists in QA section, so that I can take it up at 5 o'clock. So we are again, our next speaker is Mr. Nadeem Kadri. Mr. Nadeem Kadri is a young environmental crusader and environmental lawyer based in Pampore, and have contributed for environmental conservation right from his childhood. He is presently practicing environmental law under the ambit of his Green Office Center for Environmental Law in Honorable High Court of Jammu and Kashmir. He is actively involved in activities related to environment, forest, and wildlife conservation across Jammu and Kashmir, with special focus on Pampore landscape. Let's hear it from him. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Rekha ma'am. Pleasure being part of this wonderful evening. And I must congratulate the Climate Reality Project India for bringing all the elements across country together. And as I always believe as an volunteer for the green cause, that we have a very important role and responsibility to shape the future career opportunities of these beautiful minds which are part of this gathering and those who are watching us live. I take privilege and honor to share that being an only environmental lawyer, I can say all alone fighting for the hapless and helpless creatures, wetlands, forest, wildlife, and our larger environmental security issues in Jammu and Kashmir. My journey has been quite excited and more importantly full of I can say just challenges, because when you are a founder of certain concepts which are not known to people, right from the cleanliness drives to right to a policy level where we make laws and then ultimately get them implemented through the Honorable High Court. So you are all alone in searching for partners and collaborative supporters. But it has been a great experience, and this green journey has been quite excited for me personally. I don't have PowerPoint presentations. I really don't want to get engaged on that digital sort of a medium. I have some photographs to share for sure, which I will be doing it at my later part of my understanding. Fundamentally, why we are trying to get connected for a larger, greener movement, which we all are, fighting for our survival of our beautiful Mother Earth. And I come from Himalayas, which is known for the beautiful, so, I can say the beautiful mountains with snow-clad glaciers and fresh water coming from the streams, and then those beautiful water being going into the wetlands and then ultimately merging out with the river ecosystems. But trust me, we may be sounding like coming from a beautiful touristic place like Kashmir. We have more challenges and more pressure on us as part of being a critical ecosystem. And we know how the climate change is hovering around as a global threat to the mankind. We are trying our level best to mitigate, to minimize the sufferings because of the acts and omissions being done by the corporates, by the other big companies, including what Madam in previous session said, Uncle Chips, the Lays, the PepsiCo bottles, everywhere in Himalayas. You can see that the highest point in Kashmir Valley, which are our beautiful tourist destinations like Gulmarg, Pahalgam, Sonmarg, our beautiful riverine ecosystems. I am 37 years old, and out of my 37 years, 22 years have gone hardcore into the conservation work. You can understand that from last 20 years we are facing such sort of an ecological mismanagements where we have to lift this PepsiCo bottle right from the glaciers of Thajwas, which is in Sonmarg, right up to the wetlands of Pampor, and to any part of the country. I don't want to just make this conversation happening only from the point of view from Kashmir or Jammu and Kashmir. The problem is grave, and we need to act as soon as possible so that we will try to save this beautiful place, which we call it as a blue planet, as a blue dot in this galaxy of heavenly bodies. By profession, I'm an environmental lawyer. I practice at the Honorable High Court of Jammu and Kashmir. I am the first environmental lawyer who has a full-time responsibility to protect and to guard the environmental sustainability in this part of the world. And more importantly, being an environmental lawyer, it is not easy to work in a system where most of the things are directly not in your favor. For example, if we are trying to protect our tourist destinations, there are other group of individuals or corporate lobbies which are trying to construct their 5 stars, the 4 stars, the 3 stars, and that is what we are like on a loggerhead with each other in terms of this ecological scarcity issues. It has been a quite challenging journey, more importantly, when I founded my organization in 2010, a Wildlife Conservation Fund. It was specifically meant for conservation of the 4 wetlands of Pampor, which is my hometown, known for saffron all across the world. And more importantly, we had the critically endangered species known as hangul, which is a deer species, a part of Dachigam landscape, which is just on our backside of Pampor landscape. It has been a quite excited to understand that on the one hand, when we are into environmental law and governance issues, at the same time, you are into the conservation of water bodies, particularly wetlands, and of the very critically endangered wildlife species. Definitely, it has been wonderful to understand that there are people, there are organizations which are hand holding you, supporting you, making you more comfortable to work with them, and ultimately serving a larger cause of conservation. And that's what I will be specifically addressing, related to how we all can actually be ambassadors for a larger, greener, and cleaner world. Let us specifically think about an idea which we had been working around of weekend cleanliness drives. So the weekend is actually all the way people want to go for a touristic place, then want to enjoy with their families. That has been a common precedence of all the people, because the stress life in the cities have put a lot of pressure on our lives, because we work like robots and we try to move out and make sure that we have some good time in the nature. But when you go to the nature, you find same problems. You don't get fundamentally the clean, green, beautiful, pristine nature. Then where is the problem? The problem, as we have been discussing in previous sessions, is not only with us. The problem is also with the lack of implementation of our laws, lack of implementation of our rules, and lack of implementation of our policies, so that we could have found a better, sustainable life and a lifestyle for the larger good of our each other. But that has not been there. So fundamentally, what we do as an organization is that without blame game, without putting anybody into any sort of an question mark that you are not doing it, you should have done this, you should not have done like this, we actively engage with the student community, with the policymakers, with the Honorable High Court, with the judiciary, with the stakeholders, with the local community stakeholders, and try to bridge the gap between the ideas and what can be done in practicality. I am very much convinced that when we talk to people, when we talk to policymakers, when we talk to the governance institutions, there is an eagerness for doing something for sustainability, for doing something for environment. And I'm very much sure that when we start doing our bit, our part of it, it will definitely fetch some results. We have been engaging with young people, and we set up the open air classrooms by the way of nature school. It is not in structured manner. It is what, like, we work with tribal communities, we work with tribal kids, we work with the tribal people who are living on the fringe of the our forest areas, and try to engage with them that you are the stakeholder into the conservation process. You have an important role to play for the protection, conservation, management of the forest, and you are not an alien. And once we make them partners in conservation, their behavior changes, their attitude changes, and they become a helping hand to us when it comes to the critical conservation issues. And I have observed very minutely that when we start engaging with people who are the beneficiary or the stakeholders, they are waiting for such opportunities to be shared with them, so that they become participatory in terms of the environmental sustainability. We, as you, most of you must have understood that I come from Kashmir Valley, which is known for the lakes and the beautiful forest areas, the wildlife and other part. It is our common responsibility to understand that we as an green family has to play our role in order to protect our natural resources. And that is where we as an organization, and I as an environmental lawyer, in the year 2017, the Honorable High Court of Jammu and Kashmir appointed me as amicus curiae, which is an friend of the court, for the proper assistance to the Honorable High Court in order to make sure that we are protecting our beautiful tourist destinations, we are protecting our environmental sensitive areas, we are making sure that the wildlife conservation is the priority. And very importantly, the Honorable Court was very kind enough to pass some landmark judgments and orders in order to ensure that the sustainability, concept is prevalent in Jammu and Kashmir also. But at the same time, when we say that when we have the Honorable High Court passing orders, then those orders are not getting implemented, and it takes too much of time for the government to implement those orders. Yeah, I'm firmly of the opinion that we all need to understand our own individual responsibilities. And once we understand our own individual responsibilities, we become better citizens, we become better policymakers, we become better citizens. And that is the reason I was of the opinion कि जब हमने अपना wetland, which is we are lucky enough in our hometown, we have 4 beautiful wetlands known as wetlands of Pampore. When I was of the opinion ki what can we do individually or in a small group of individuals, we started picking up the trash. And as an advocate, as an environmental lawyer, as in someone who is at a position of an amicus curiae, when we start picking up the trash, it is itself an effort to give a clear message to all the stakeholders, to all the local community stakeholders, that this is the time we need to save and protect our wetland ecosystems. And trust me, it took us 5 to 6 years to make sure that the wetlands of Pampore are the best managed wetland ecosystems across the Jammu and Kashmir. It is only possible when we involve the local stakeholders, the local youth, the local policymakers, the executives, the bureaucrats, the judiciary, and overall the policymakers. And that is where we have the results coming in. I'll be sharing some of the beautiful pictures, which is not part of this PowerPoint presentation, but very importantly to see how beautiful our wetlands are now, which we are now going to designate them as Ramsar sites. In addition to that, I had a privilege and honor to be part of the Sanctuary Nature Foundation, which is headed by Bittu Sehgal sir, as one of the Kids for Tiger coordinators. And we have no tigers in Kashmir, and we don't have tigers either in Jammu and Kashmir. But when I became the volunteer for Kids for Tigers, the idea was that the promise is I will raise a voice for tiger, and the voice from country should be for our hangul, which is a Kashmiri deer species. So that was the idea. Extremely thankful to Sanctuary Nature Foundation to give us this platform of a new campaign which we designed at a national level by way of Save Hangul, Save Tiger campaign. The commitment was the kids of Kashmir, the kids of Jammu, the kids of Ladakh will raise a voice for a tiger, which is our national animal. In return, we were expecting all the kids and all the students across country to raise voice for our state animal, which is Hangul, which is Kashmir deer. So we thought it is very important to work together as a strong family. We call it as a green family, and ensure that we work without missing an opportunity of becoming the ambassadors for change. And that's what we thought. It is high time and important that on the one hand, you wear a black coat, which is your official dress. At the same time, you go out and do some cleanup activities also. More than 5,000 events we have organized all across Jammu, Kashmir, and Ladakh in order to ensure that we pick the trash, whether thrown by anyone. We don't question who is throwing this trash. We are picking up and lifting this trash. Even if I sometimes have a half day in court and I will take my black coat out and go into for some cleanup drives, we love this. We love our place. We love our beautiful, we call it in our Kashmiri called Muaj Kashir, that is Mother Kashmir. So fundamentally, when we all have love for our country, for our blue dot, the planet Earth, we all are ambassadors for larger good. In addition, what I was interested in sharing with you was a very important thing. We missed up something like I was trying to find out volunteers from universities. I will try to find out volunteers from colleges. Somehow it was all a difficult journey altogether, but it pushed us, trust me, as an student of law, having no background from the education. It was honor to meet Dr. Seema ma'am also here. I had to develop a concept called the Nature University. And in 2016, I'm honored to share with you all that this is the first open air campus in Kashmir, which has been now recognized as an innovation in environmental education, nature education. And this Nature University is going to be everyone's university with no degrees required to come in to be part of the nature education programs. We will be actively working with Madam Rekha Lala for developing certain programs for the kids of Kashmir. They are waiting for organizations, they're waiting for opportunities, and we will be more than happy to welcome any of you coming down to Kashmir, whether you are a tourist, whether you are on a nature tour, whether you are on a trekking, whether you are on hiking. I can assure you on my organizational behalf that you are going to be our revered guests, and we will be trying our level best to provide you the best hospitality, whichever can be in our command and control. So you all are our guests in Kashmir, and we'll be more than happy to host you and show you the beautiful Dachigam National Park, which is known for and home for Hangul, which is our lifetime, I can say, the project assignment. It is not depending upon that who funds the project. We don't have sponsors. We don't take money from the government. We don't take money from the organizations, because we want to work for the environment in a manner that everyone is a partner, everyone is a stakeholder on this. So before I show you those beautiful pictures of my wetlands in Pampur, which we are protecting from last almost 2 decades, it's 20 years. I remember I was in 9th class, as most of the students said that 10th class, 9th class, 11th class. So I remember when I started my environmental activism, I was just like in 9th class, and I got a hint that I need to work for my wetlands of Pampur. After 2 decades, it is not an easy thing. Like, you have a consistency going on into the conservation. And trust me, after 2 decades, our wetlands in Pampur are considered as one of the best wetland ecosystems we have in Kashmir, we have in Jammu and Kashmir. So I'll be just taking you to a very pictorial, journey. I'll be just happy to share with you, what is my idea of doing something. Just a minute. I just need an assistance of Rekha ma'am. Once she understands, we are seeing the screen. Yeah. So this is not a presentation related to this, but I will.
It's not visible, sir. It's not visible.
The presentation is not visible?
No.
Just a minute. I just need to cross check it. I have to go to the Zoom first. Just a minute.
So you have to just share screen and share your presentation, or if any pictures are there.
Yeah, perfectly fine. I just need to learn this important thing. I just want to share this. Is it visible?
No, sir.
Because I'm using my mobile phone for this, I'm sure there will be some sort of.
That is why. Maybe that's why. Because you have to share screen, and if you have to, even from a mobile phone also, you can share screen and share all the pictures.
That's what I was of the opinion that.
So I think computer, you can see everything. So it's a broad screen. So that's why.
Yeah. So let us try it in just a second. If it is not working, then I'll go in a different manner altogether. Yes. Yeah.
No, sir, it is not visible.
Okay, perfect. No issues. What I will do actually, I'm going to write in a message in the website which we have, and so that the students and participants
Can
can
see that.
really be part of it. So before I conclude this important talk on this very important issue, I would urge every one of you who is interested in rendering any of the support to the idea of a common beautiful world which we are trying to build together. We will be more than happy to work with all the stakeholders, particularly the Climate Reality Project, so that we can build up a strong network which will be ultimately a great source of inspiration for all of us. We need support of organizations to work in this part of the world where we are not only planting trees. I have a chance to share that more than 1 lakh plus trees have been planted over almost 3-4 years of our intervention, and we have been doing this afforestation under our Go Green Kashmir initiative. We have tried our level best to go to the schools and work with them as an green campus project. We have a green school concept, which we have now then reformed into the nature school. The concept of nature word has come incorporated into, we have a nature university, we have the nature school, we have the nature farm, we have the nature library. If any of you would like to be part of this idea of a thing, we have a digital herbarium where our team of young researchers go and they collect digital pictures and we upload them into our the nature history museum. We created an innovation out of the technology. We had used the every bit of the technology to understand how best we can integrate these models into something called an nature education program. And that's what we are trying to build, this nature education program, not only for the people who are living in the rural areas. We have a program for those who have a PhD. We work with the postdoc research fellows also under the Nature University and try to learn from each other how the rural development we can work, how we can work on climate science, on AI, machine learning, and many other things which are part of our technological intervention in conservation. And because at a university level, which is like a beautiful world of great minds together, because we don't offer degrees, we don't offer diplomas, we give them an open beautiful forest and say that tell us how many beautiful butterflies we have in the forest. So that is the online classes we set up for experts, for the young kids and those kindergarten students also, because one of our concept was globally recognized as, we said, nature school. It is very simple. We said it R for rabbit. So we have a rabbit in the room. We said A for apple. We have the apples for the students to eat. It's a very simple tool which we have innovated, and it has not costed us anything beyond the basic pocket money which we have kept it reserved for our nature school classes, which are on mostly on Sundays. As a lawyer, I have no responsibility to take over the educationist's role, or to take the charge of the climate experts, or to take charge of my learned friend, Mr. Ashutosh, who is an expert on environmental law, or our Hitesh sir, who has a great contribution to the natural history world. We try to learn things and try to be as close to as nature, because ultimately, the black coat has put us into so much of responsibility. You have to protect every bit of the biodiversity with the powers vested with you. As you must have seen Spider-Man, they said it, with greater power comes the greater responsibilities. And fundamentally, it is what we believe as humans, that acts will be rewarded as per the intentions. If your intentions are good, and the intentions are good for your mother earth, the reward will definitely come. And that's what I personally believe. Even if at the age of 37 I'm in charge of the forests, the wildlife, the lakes, the wetlands, and whatnot, has put me into a more burden, rather than I feel it a privilege that to go to Dachigam every time or to go to Gulmarg every time. I'm sure I will be more than happy to show you all on a next exclusive session with Madam Rekha ji, that what are we doing actually in Kashmir. That's what I did not had a PowerPoint presentation. Even if I had some slides, my device did not accepted it, because I had made a commitment that I don't believe in mostly the uh, illusion which we create. We believe and we respect and we love our nature. We are as citizens of this beautiful planet. We have an equal responsibility to share with, and I'll be Mr. Hitesh's great speech. And thank you, Rekha Lala ma'am, for giving this opportunity to a very, I have a gray hair, by the way. I'm not a young boy now. I was 22 years back called as Hangul boy. And now I'm a grown man with the two beautiful daughters and a beautiful wife. The idea is we all are together with your mission and vision. And I promise you that whatever climate reality India project wants to do anything in this beautiful landscape, we will be honored to be your committed volunteers, and we will expand this climate reality project in every nook and corner. We have 5,000 green volunteers. We have 500 green ambassadors. We have more than 100 schools collaborating with us silently without too much of Facebook, things, because everything is not good to be kept on the social media. Something is to be kept for some sort of an soul and commitment to yourself. So, ma'am, thank you very much for giving an opportunity to me. I will promise all the participants and those who are watching us live that they will be our revered guests whenever they try to come down to this beautiful land known as paradise on earth. Definitely, we are united for this common cause and an objective, and we will work together as one single green family. Thank you very much once again. I really appreciate and congratulate you for bringing all participants all across the country together through this digital technology. Thank you very much for those innovators also who are giving us these tools to bridge the gap between the beautiful minds and those who are eagerly waiting for all your great ideas to be implemented in Kashmir. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Nadeem sir and Rekha ma'am, before Nadeem sir leaves, I just wanted to share, I think both your panelists towards the end, Mr. Nadeem, Quadri and Hitesh, they are maintaining that uniformity. I am also not using PowerPoint presentations.
Then I'm going to stay here. Then I'm going to stay here to hear you, sir. Even if I have some appointments, I'll cancel that. Thank you very much, ma'am. Please, over to you, ma'am.
So, thank you, sir. I think that our Kashmir and Punjab, they are in line with one another. Okay, that's very nice. And you are an emissary of nature. That's why I think nature has chosen you. And I agree, sir. The plastic packets are a big nuisance. And Seema ma'am also said that. So great to listen to the work you are doing, and some work to protect Hangul and endangered species in Kashmir. We keep telling students that wetland ecosystem is very, very important, and that too for providing a habitat to the wildlife, protecting the shoreline, and in fact, even recharging the water. I think most of the cities and most of the states in India, we are not having the groundwater, and groundwater is depleting day by day due to the concretization. So that's why the wetland ecosystem is very, very important. So thanks for inviting all of us to Kashmir. I think all my students will rush to you. Next, they will say that let Mama plan and go to Kashmir.
Yeah, for sure.
We have Nadeem Quadri sir there.
Except that we have the full occupancy in hotels and no cabs are available, but our home and our heart are always open, ma'am. We will be more than happy to receive.
They will come, don't worry.
Yeah, great. I'll be more than happy to receive them. Thank you.
Yes, Climate Reality Project would be more than happy to design programs for the students of Kashmir, and we promise that we will have special programs for the students of Kashmir, keeping their ecosystem in mind.
Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.
So since I think we want to learn again from our expert, it's an opportunity to invite Mr. Hitesh Kumar Gulati to guide you to the better ways of crafting, presenting your profile to the green jobs and the art of communication. So I think Mr. Hitesh Gulati is Honorable Director of APSWD, Climate Reality Leader, a master trainer of Green Campus. He's a human capital transformation and change management consultant with 21 years of diversified experience in establishing organization effectiveness, change management, competencies, process-oriented culture, data-driven decisions for businesses. He's also the founder of Diversity Ace Business Consulting. So they were, I think, so many fields which he was there. So I've cut short some of them. So over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Rekha ma'am. And again, starting with where Nadeem sir has ended, I'm not using PowerPoint presentation, and there is a reason for that, because I want all our dear young aspiring environment professionals to get a feel of how to craft and present your resume, right?
Oh.
So one way was I could have prepared the presentation in the starting, but I thought of listening to all the speakers and listening to their particular viewpoint and whatever profession they are coming from, apart from the climate part. I have made the content based on that particular part.
Sure, sir.
So thank you so much, Rekha ma'am and the Climate Reality Project India for bringing us together to synergize in the field of environment and climate related jobs on this platform, and also to share our knowledge with young aspiring environment professionals, which in short I term it as YAP, YAEP. Right? So I was listening to all our distinguished panelists of the day today, Mr. Ashutosh Senger in the starting, Ms. Tsemsulata Imsong, Dr. Seema Purohit, and Mr. Nadeem Quadri. So as I shared with you, rather than using a PowerPoint presentation, I thought of taking you through a journey here with all my fellow panelists to give you a feel on this interesting topic. So request you all to mark my words on better ways of crafting and presenting your profile for green jobs. I'm requesting you to please mark it, what I'm saying. When your profile starts talking to the viewer without you being answering their questions, that means you have presented your profile in the most apt or right way. I'm repeating it once again. When your profile starts talking to the viewer without you being answering their questions, that means you have presented your profile in the most apt or right way. So rather than giving you some other examples, I am again taking you backward in this particular program today, right? So I'll start with where Miss Tsemsulata Imsong, social worker, who's a social worker, Dr. Seema Purohit, who's a mathematician and principal, and Mr. Nadeem Quadri, who's an environment lawyer. They have left their deliberation, right? So how beautifully Miss Tsemsulata Imsong has captured the hygiene and sanitation efforts of her projects in before and after stage, with the impact it has made on the environment and health. So she, along with her team, has worked majorly in 4 areas. I have noted it down. First is the disaster management. Second was cleaning of ghats and Varanasi. Sorry, Rekha ma'am, I think this is a part of the concluding remarks also that I am giving, but this has a relation with that, right? Then third was she, along with her team, was involved in community awareness programs. And fourth was health sensitization programs that she, along with her team, were doing. So hope you all remember that today you have witnessed talks from an environment lawyer. There were 2 environment lawyers, Mr. Nadeem Quadri and Mr. Ashutosh. In fact, Mr. Ashutosh was also a policy researcher, a mathematician and principal, a social worker, and the one whom you're listening to is a climate reality leader and a change management consultant. So whenever you are designing your profile, I'm giving you a feel, consider you being sharing your profile with all 5 panelists here who are going to interview you on green jobs. Now what you have to do here is start connecting the dots. So visualize you being interviewed by a panel of social worker, a mathematician, and a lawyer. So if you have to win the hearts of this distinguished panel, you have to first collect your data in terms of the social or community development and sustainable solutions for convincing the social worker. Second, you have to capture your data in numbers for the mathematician, Madam Seema, right? And capture before and after facts or pictures of the data with the positive impact on environment for an environment lawyer like Mr. Ashutosh and Mr. Nadeem Quadri. So if you are able to capture the data both in qualitative and quantitative, qualitative is basically the subjective data, and quantitative is the data in terms of numbers. So if you are able to capture that particular data both in quantitative and qualitative way, capture the number of projects in respective areas, like the areas I have shared in the starting, and the impact it has made on the environment sustainability. So by making your profile infographic and continuously updating it with data, your profile becomes more dynamic in nature and it standouts in the crowd. So rather than updating your profile, let's say after every 3 or 4 months, start updating it on monthly or bi-monthly basis. The more you are able to play with numbers and data, it will make it more, you can say, interactive also, and the recruiters would prefer seeing your profile and shortlisting it for the green jobs, right? So I'll give you an instance where I think Rekha ma'am can also add what instance that I'm going to give. So start the recording of number of projects and impact in the areas of, let's say, I think one of the participant has written about kitchen garden. So number of plantations done in the kitchen garden, what kind of plantation has been done. In terms of waste management, what kind of waste materials an institution or school is using, or what kind of initiatives they have taken at their campus and its impact. So I'll give an example where Rekha ma'am took us for a visit to one of the schools in Dwarka. I don't remember the name of that school, Rekha ma'am, but that school had a room, music room, which was using waste materials for making it soundproof. And you'll not believe what kind of waste materials they have used there. They have used egg trays. They have used tetra packs of juices by filling it with the, I think mud. Mud was filled in that so that the voice cannot pass through those particular tetra packs also outside the rooms. So there were n number of other waste materials also that were being used to convert it into a soundproof room. I'll not say that was 100% soundproof, but correct me, Rekha ma'am, I think that was around 80 or 90% soundproof room.
Yes, sir.
It was there, right?
It was there. That was
Right.
St. Mary's School, Dwarka.
Yeah, St. Mary's School. And luckily, I also got admitted both of my sons in St. Mary, Chandigarh this year itself.
Oh. That's very nice.
And then there was third initiative, which was related to energy efficiency. So usage of solar powers gives you a subsidy on your electric bills. Even central coolers were used in the lobby areas and roofs of schools, which helped them in saving electricity. So what they were doing is they were recording the savings per month and how it added to climate conservation at their campus, coupled with the cost effectiveness of the budget that was there for these particular activities. And even usage of CFL lights reduce the electricity bills. Why I am stating these particular projects or numbers or how it is impacting the cost effectiveness, because once we are designing our particular profile, we need to mention it in terms of actions. What were the actions taken and what kind of impact it had on the environment. This basically makes your profile more you can say dynamic, and your profile is able to speak to the viewer, like what kind of projects you have been involved with, right? And while giving my introduction in the starting, Rekha ma'am was sharing that I'm also a change management consultant. So I'll quickly give you a glance of how I have also designed my profile. Similar way, you can design your profile when you're going for green jobs related to those particular areas. So to share in short, I work in 4 major areas. First is the HR advisory services. Second is the trainings part. Third is the program management part, on which I do programs related to climate change, and some other programs related to other subjects are also there. And fourth is the report writing part. So all these 4 different areas, I have flooded it with both content as well as data. So I'll give you a feel of that. And towards the end, I'll show you another document which gives you a dashboard of the trainings that I have done. But the purpose of showing it to you is try capturing your data in terms of projects, whether you're doing any particular projects in terms of the area in which you're working in climate, what kind of impact it is having, and in terms of number, also start recording that particular data. So quickly, I'll just show you my brief profile first, and then I'll show you the training dashboard, which will give you a feel how you have to capture data. So with your due permission, Rekha ma'am, I hope I can go ahead with this.
Sure, sir. Why not?
So I hope I have the co-host rights.
Yes, sir, you do.
Right. Just give me a moment. I'll just open my brief profile and then I'll share it on the screen. Another 3-4 minutes and I'll end up with the stock. So I hope it is visible on the screen, Rekha ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So this entire data I have captured in Excel, and based on that particular data, I have made 4 blocks on the top: 27 OD and HR interventions, 240 talks, virtual dialogues or interactive sessions, 80 plus program conceptualization and execution, and 45 program annual and research reports. So this is the, you can say, the introduction card or the top part of my particular profile. And when you go, when you scroll down, the left hand side shows you a brief experience in different areas that I'm having, and the right hand side shows my contribution to different associations. And again, if you scroll down, it shows you which all industries I have worked for and even the credentials part. Right? So this is a brief overview of the profile. And apart from this brief overview, I have made 4 different profiles for each of these areas. One is the HR intervention, second is the training sessions, third is the program management part, and fourth is the research reports, or you can say the program and annual reports. Because obviously, for whichever job or project I'll be applying for, since I'm an entrepreneur, so I'll not be applying for jobs. So I'll be applying for different projects. So I should have customized profile as per those particular areas, right? So I'll stop sharing it here, and quickly I'll give you a glance of how I have captured data regarding these 240 talks, virtual dialogues, or interactive sessions, which will give you an idea how you can capture data in Excel and then convert it into a profile which is having both data as well as the content part. I'll show you that Excel sheet, and that will give you an idea how you have to compile or how you have to collect that particular data. Hope Rekha ma'am, we are able to see the Excel sheet.
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Right. So if you see on this particular screen, it shows the client name in the left hand side. Then for which particular sector that particular client belongs to, whether it's a central government or state government body, or whether it's education sector, or whether it's business membership organization, or whether it's some other sector, right? Similarly, I have taken day, month and year separately in all the columns. And the reason of taking this data in all 3 different columns is I can also calculate the things in terms of month wise or year wise also. So that is the reason I have collected day, month and year in separate columns rather than making it in one particular column. Then the session topic is mentioned here. Then again, if you go on the right hand side, it also shows you type of training, area, and the number of participants in each training. That is also there, right? So this is the source sheet. I have collected that data, and by using pivot tables, I have interpreted data in different ways. So now it shows you type of trainings and number of participants in those trainings that I have done, right? But coming to the crux of this particular thing, I'll show you the training dashboard now, which will give you how this data has helped me in preparing that particular training dashboard. One last document, ma'am, and I'll end up here itself. So on the screen, I hope all of you are able to see this. So based on recording that particular data and using pivot tables, I converted it into pie charts, and I was able to capture the number of trainings, type of trainings, and even the number of participants depending upon the type of trainings, and for which all sectors I have worked for. And going forward, if you see the next slide, it also shows you the glance of some of the training topics towards the end. Right? So this is one way of presenting your profile, right? Similarly, everybody can think their own way of how to present their profile and how it can be more attractive to the person whom you are sharing to. So the reason why I talked about all 5 different panelists was because if you are thinking from a lawyer's point of view, or if you are thinking from a mathematician or principal's point of view, or if you are thinking from a consultant, management consultant point of view, they'll be viewing or they'll be expecting your profile in a different way. So when you are sending your profile to different bodies or different, you can say organizations, depending upon the job role you are applying for in green jobs, try to and capture data related to that particular area only. Whereas it should cover other areas also, but the major would be the one for which you are applying for. So this is all from my side, Rekha ma'am, and I will not take much time because it's already 5:10 and I don't want to go beyond that.
Thank you so much. So I think I will be sending first my biodata to you because I don't know how to make that pie chart and the kind of trainings we have. It is so difficult to see that they are so much in line, and in each column you have even written the number of participants. I think I have forgotten. From today onwards, I'll start doing that in all my sessions, how many people came and how many of them. So because, and then I have to ultimately send it to you. So
I think it will take me another decade of 22 years to be made into those pie charts and other things. Thank you, Hitesh sir. Trust me, it has
the
been a
way
new
he
learning
has done it.
experience.
Yeah, seriously.
I was looking forward to start it just now after I dropped this call. So it's a great experience.
Thank you. In
sharing.
fact, I have
Thank you.
suggested a lot of my friends to make their profile in this way because it makes it more lively rather than speaking
Very
only about
few
the
people on the planet Earth believe in sharing the personal secrets to someone.
Secrets.
And I must give credit to Hitesh sir because this is very much looks forward for a long-term learning experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So as we all are Indian here, so on a lighter note, I can say कि भी गंजे को आप याद रखोगे.
Thank you very much. Likewise.
Thank you, Nadeem sir. Thank you.
I'm sure now we are here for lots of questions from the students. Students, you can keep putting your questions in the Q&A section. You are putting some questions in chat box, which it's very difficult to know because you are writing your name and your school name and from which states you are. So it is better you write all your question in QA section so that I can take it from there. So first question is for Imsong ma'am. So the students are writing, I had once tried making compost at my home in a plastic bucket with holes, and I put kitchen waste and garden waste in it with sprinkling some water, but I was not able to compost it even after 2 months. Maybe I know the reason why this is, and how can I make better compost? And the similar one, and the question is, ma'am, petrol is black gold, can we have a compost called as brown gold? Actually, I feel the word gold is a great meaning, and it says compost is a treasure to us. So ma'am, please share the method of composting. Over to you, ma'am. Ma'am, your voice is not coming.
Ma'am, can you hear me?
Better.
Okay. So thank you so much to the panelists. I have learned a lot, as I've mentioned when I started my session, and I have really learned a lot. Such an enriching session it was, and definitely I'm going to knock every door on you, every one of you. So wait for my call. and I'm going to disturb you all. Yes, thank you so much for the question. I think I have the first question I have personally replied to her also, but I'll just mention here also. Okay, composting, we have lots of types of composting, right? So aerobic composting is there, and aerobic pit composting, vermicomposting, pipe composting. There are many types of composting. So it depends which one or what kind of area you have in your place. So if you are living in a very congested area, or if you have just a small balcony, I think I should suggest you you go for aerobic composting, which is very convenient and very I feel that for home composting, aerobic composting is best. And if you are okay with wormy, then that is also very nice. There won't be any smell. Wormy also, it's very good. So the other student who is doing in the bucket, I don't know what kind of problem you faced, but when you make holes, be careful. Don't like you have to. It's a bucket, right? It's not earthen board. So earthen board, if you are making hole, just few holes on the side and on the bottom, that will do. But with bucket, no, it becomes a bit aerobic also, and anaerobic also, even if you are no doing the holes. So make sure that your holes are sufficient, and on the bottom also you should make holes. And I don't know, you did not mention specific problem what you were facing. So maybe you were you might have seen lots of maggots coming out of that after 2 months, but those maggots are the one who is working for your compost. Okay, so that will also turn when you're green, when the greens are not completely over, those maggots will also go down, and there will be like just another compost. So I don't know what kind of issue was that you did not mention. So maybe your brown dry leaves, or maybe sawdust, maybe that was not enough. Maybe you were facing a lot of leachate, the water, the liquid which was coming out from the compost. I don't know. So make sure that your holes are sufficient in your buckets. And then yeah, if your greens are too much, you can not like fill the bucket with more browns again. Then if you mix it, then yeah, whenever you are putting your kitchen waste, you should mix with your browns again and again. Then I think your problem will be solved. And if it's about maggots, definitely those maggots are not dangerous. It will become compost only. So wait for a few more days, and I think your problem will be solved. I hope you have got your answer.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Hope sure. I think there are so many questions on composting. They would all have been answered. Yes, they are supporting that. All Pratiksha, I think, from KGM is supporting that. So Bhavika has asked from, I think, why the students of Kashmir was I stopped. They were asking, I think, about the work you do with the students, because they are all students here and they want to know the kind of
Yeah,
work you are doing in Kashmir.
definitely, we have to understand that Kashmir is full of opportunities, and when we try to approach the schools, we have a lot of other responsibilities as a professional persons, and as an people who go into the every school to motivate them and to involve them. We need climate leaders. See, I am a professional who has spent my life into my own core expertise. But as now we have Climate Reality India, which is, an opportunity for us to reach out to the schools with a proper setup. We can tell them that they can get involved into the climate program. We can have certain programs with them. We can have teacher training programs. We can have the TOT is being done and organized in a very professional manner. Once we have that setup, which is now going to be another challenge for next couple of years, I'm sure now they will not be stopped. They were stopped because this was a new subject for all of them. Because when we started doing cleanups and cleanliness drive around a decade back, as ma'am rightly said, that cleaning up Varanasi places, and people say that karamcharis, that we are a proud karamcharis, and we really feel honored that we are doing this job, because of the reason that we are part of the society and we have to do our bit. But when we say students have to come up for a cleanup drive, it was a new culture for them. It was a new learning experience for them. And I'm sure now we are getting enormous response while we are working with Sanctuary Nature Foundation, Earth Day Network, being a consultant for them. Now people are coming forward. The teachers are now allowing them. The schools are now flexible in these extracurriculum activities. And I'm sure once we are going to bring many more important climate leaders through virtual or offline mode, we are getting a green revolution sooner. And Rekha ma'am has to help us in order to reach out to those schools which are partnering with us, as we need to learn things, because we are not expert of the subjects. We need to learn things and transform this education to the schools. And I'm sure now we are going to work actively on these issues of why young boys and girls were not coming forward. I'm sure that this not word will get converted into that they will come forward and join hands and be part of the cleanliness drives, plantation drives, and other initiatives. And I'm happy that now I can feel that my family is getting a little bit bigger. And we have now, as Hitesh rightly said, we have a mathematician, we have a social worker, we have an environmental lawyer. I was reading a lot about Ashutosh ji's work, and it is such a great pleasure to now get a handshake with him in Delhi, because I also have a very nearby office. So we can now work together and build up Jammu and Kashmir in a much better manner. That's what our kids need, Rekha ma'am's more indulgence and support. And I'm sure now they will not be stopped. They will be allowed to actively participate in these drives, programs, and initiatives. I'm sure, this platform will open up more opportunities.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Some more questions are coming. What new thinking are there for polythene to recycle? I think we were talking about the packets and all. So the students are asking, how can we recycle them? And then there is one question which I think is related. They say the students are saying, this is Priyanshi and Dipanshi Singh also from KIT school, Sohna Gurgaon, is saying that how can we convince people for your deeds, and when they are not supporting us and abusing or misbehaving? See, that happens in schools and colleges as well. Something if you take up, and how to deal with them, that is very important. And social pressure is there. Even students have peer pressure where they are something which they take up. Like I remember there was a boy in my school which was doing the waste segregation, so they used to call him kachra boy. Usko kachra bolte the ki aa gaya kachre wala, aa gaya kachre wala. So there is a social pressure. So they are asking. So I think this is what students wants to know. So anyone can take up. Yes, Ashutosh sir, you can take up.
I'll share something that's written on my left in my office. Probably
Alright.
that'll be an answer to this.
Okay.
Because I do understand these are difficult things. So
Oh
I don't know
yes,
if people can read.
because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. That's why I think all of them will agree with that. All the students, those who are with us, they can see that. So I think the crazy people only can make something out of it. So yes, go ahead and do what you like and what you love. So don't worry about others. So that's what. Thank you so much,
Pleasure,
Ashutosh.
ma'am.
Yeah.
Pleasure. I think since I also started through volunteering more than a decade back now, um, I think trust me, there are a lot of good people that we'll meet in this journey, and then of course, we'll meet people who may not agree with us or maybe not support us. But I think it's important. Let's say we're standing at zero. What is there to lose? You'll ask someone, they'll not support you. Fine, I'm already standing at zero. But what if in that process, let's say 1% out of 10 agrees to help me, I move from zero to one, and slowly and slowly. So of course, even in fact, I think if you look at, there's a very interesting phrase by Charlie Chaplin, and he says, if you look at life in a very macro view, like in a short duration, it looks like a tragedy. But if you zoom out and you look at a couple of years together, it looks like comedy. So I completely agree with that question, and I'm sure each one of us have faced some sort of hesitation or obstruction in our journey, but we've come a long way, and I'm sure each one of us is here to help. I'm more than willing to help with whatever little network that I have, and anybody who's interested to even just brainstorm some ideas, happy to help, put them in touch with people who can help them. So yeah.
Thank
But
you,
yeah,
sir.
very, very interesting and a very important question, by the way. These
Yeah, actually,
whoever asked.
actually, in classroom also, there are 40 students thinking that that's a stupid question. Should I ask? Should I ask? So if one asks, so I think others know that the answer is there. Yes, thank you, sir. So one more question, that is Lakshana of PR is saying, how can we increase awareness of people who are completely unaware of the current situation? So I think they are here, so they feel that they are now aware of the situation. So how can we do that? So anyone can take up on that question.
Should I go ahead on this as well?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think in today's time, social media is extremely powerful. So social media is there. See, I think it's a bridge. Like they are saying that they want to make people aware. Similarly, the other side also wants to be aware. So I think both the sides needs to be connected. So whatever they feel they're good at, whether if it's even just like, for example, with what climate reality in fact does is, like, I'm also a climate reality leader. So a major chunk of what we do is we hold awareness sessions, right? So a lot of our leaders, I'm not saying I'm the best, I think the far better CR leaders than I see, and the amount of awareness that they create is phenomenal. So just simply just walking up to an office, or going to a school, or just maybe if you're just sharing whatever you've learned with a friend is good. That's one. There are so many events that keep happening across states, in cities. You have institutions similar to Climate Reality who are doing phenomenal work. Reach out to them. One. Second, social media. If you feel that you're good at writing, start writing. Maybe not today, maybe after a couple of years, just write. People read. I write a lot, and trust me, it has huge reach. So write, read, talk. Something as simple as it may sound, it's very impactful. So in whatever way one wants to do it, I think they can obviously reach out to Climate Reality, and I have received so much of warm welcome from Climate Reality. I can personally vouch for the organization. Please feel free to reach out to them.
Thank
I
you.
hope
Thank you,
that
sir.
helps.
Yeah, thanks. So Hitesh sir, I think the question is for you. They are Dhanwant is asking for what is data collection and how you have done it. So I think my query was that only. Sir, you are not audible.
Hope I am audible now. Rekha ma'am, I am audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I have replied to Dhanwant, but again I'll share. He has asked, can you explain data collection? So Dhanwant, the data collection is basically done in two ways. One is capturing the content, which is the qualitative data, and second is the quantitative data, which you collect in terms of numbers. So when you are capturing your projects in the profile and presenting your projects in terms of numbers, and the impact, which is in terms of, you write it either in the form of content or pictures. So try to incorporate that data both in content as well as the numbers way, because that will make it more dynamic in nature, and recruiters would prefer shortlisting your particular profile for that. So this is about data collection, and I'll not go deeper into this because this again calls for another session on right. So I'll end up here. Thank you so much, Rekha.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So I think we are about 2 minutes only we have. So let me thank all my panelists for taking out their precious time and sharing their experience with all my students. And thanks to all the teachers, those who are there. For coordination, support we got from all the schools for sending their students. Thanks to the students for their enthusiastic participation. Even let me share it with you. Even after we stop, the streaming is on and on YouTube. Last year session also we got 4,000 and more than 4,000 views from everywhere. Yes, so students are watching and they are doing their homework, and whatever you are there and think they are watching and taking that action. So those who are students, they are, it is like a chain reaction. So it is going from one student to another, and within a week we have got so much of response.
Wonderful.
So thank you everyone. Thank you
Thank you very much.
so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, students, and see you for the next session on 25th. So join us on 25th as well. Thanks.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.